We're an organization to advocate on behalf of African Americans and disadvantaged others, sort of to help them to reach economic parity.
The problems we work with are not problems of black people or problems of white people, but problems of the American community.
And we recognize how fortunate we were to be where we were, and our job was to help them to get to where they wanted and needed to go.
In 1938, when this Urban League was started, there was still a dark veil of neglect in the country around discrimination.
At the time that I came here in 1956, Washington was seen as a northern town with southern exposure. Part of our challenge was awakening Washington. I saw it as a real opportunity to begin to affect change here.
We're the defenders, we're protectors, we're friends, we're the folks with boots on the ground, but really being able to touch and change the lives of others. More than 2 million lives we've impacted.
The Urban League, from its beginning in 1910, always had at its head a professionally trained person to design, to create, to conceive of programs and ideas that could move a community forward.
I was involved in the civil rights movement all of my life. Martin Luther King was a personal friend of mine. I was with him in Memphis, and I left about noon that day. To go to New York, I had to make a speech for the Urban League there. What I'm saying is, it was in my genes. I was always involved in this activity.
I said I was gonna work for 5 years and then go and do something else. 20 years later, I was still there. When you see something happening that's good, you don't wanna stop. You don't wanna do something else.
I've had a very long history with the Urban League movement, but also had a great propensity, if you will, for really wanting to make an impact at another level. And so the Urban League, for me, was just always kind of that vehicle in terms of doing that.
You go to an event and some woman comes up to you and says, "Thank you so much, I got my house through you all," or "I got this through you all, I'm really pleased." Then you know you've done something positive.
The Realtors Association said that only 5% of African Americans own homes in this country. That's a problem. Last year, through our first-time home buyers program, we placed 265 families in homes.
All these airlines from around the world came into Washington, but African Americans had no opportunity. In the board of the Greater Washington Urban League, we had a person named Martin Agronsky. Martin Agronsky called the presidents of all the airlines to a breakfast meeting at his home one day. And so we worked out a good plan and created vast opportunity, that whole new industry across America and across the world.
On a personal level, I really felt good about the young professional group, but we put our young professionals on the board of directors. They had roles to play, they had things to do. They were leaders.
80 years is a time for both reflection and projection.
The Urban League provides services that people appreciate.
The Urban League will always be needed. Progress is not automatic.
The election of President Obama, while that did signal hope, not the final victory in terms of overcoming racism and discrimination in this country.
We can't be thinking in terms of 80 years. We gotta be thinking of tomorrow. And so that we're prepared to meet the challenges that will come.
The new president has to have approaches, have to have problem-solving techniques, and you gotta do some new things.
For me, the joy is the fact that I stand on the shoulders of so many folks who are giants, and the fact that many of them have been illuminators, if you will. I think about John Jacob, and I think about Marty Cooper, Jerome Page, Sterling Tucker, and Betty Whaley. They passed the baton to me. It's my responsibility to move that baton forward. We have to elevate our voice, and there's no better time than us doing that now.
We still stand.
We still stand
because of you.
Because of you.